personal experience and the stories that I hear from other people.
Yeah.
What I did is I surrounded myself with like-minded people, because there are going to be those people that in your life that, with all good intentions, may not necessarily fully support what you're doing, because it's different to what they've been taught is correct. There are no rules. Your life can be whatever the hell you want it to be. But surrounding yourself by like-minded people really helps, because what you notice is, and I actually surrounded myself by like-minded people, by getting a business coach and joining a community. But and what I noticed is all the fears that I thought I had that were perhaps a flaw within me, or a vulnerability that I kind of had and didn't. And everybody else seemed so confident and so brave, and they were killing it. Actually, you speak to these people that have the entrepreneurial mindset and the mindset to actually build their own thing and work day in, day out on their businesses. They have exactly the same fears as you do. So the insecurities that you feel when you're working on your own as an entrepreneur, because it is quite a lonely process sometimes, having a community that you can just tap into and say, look, I'm having a really bad day today. I'm feeling like I can't do it. And having that person going, that's how I felt last Wednesday. And here's what I did to get myself out of it. And you can do it. Just keep going. It's completely normal. Just hearing those kind of things, and having a person that you can reach out to when you're struggling. I mean, I have a fabulous coach now, and she's absolutely awesome. But just having that person that I can reach out and go, I'm stuck here. How do I push forward? Because sometimes it can get really difficult, just like any job, but it can get really difficult. And having that support network and that hand holding was definitely the thing that got me pushing forward. And being around inspirational people that motivate me on a daily basis, because some days you do wake up and you don't want to do it. You do wake up, you think, I can't do this, I can't do this, what am I doing? Oh my God, what am I doing? You totally have them. I mean, I have freakouts, I have meltdowns. I just don't have them as often as what I used to have. But having that support network there is completely fundamental, 100% fundamental.
So that's absolutely key, is to surround yourself, even if you're not quite sure what you're doing, just people, who are inspiring to you, people who are who make you feel motivated. So that was, you'd say, one of your first key things is to surround yourself with those types of people, whether that's joining a group, whether that's doing something online.
Yeah. I mean, I've got a Facebook group. We're going to talk about it a little bit later, I think. But something similar to that, whereby I opened up a Facebook group for people that are just starting up on their online businesses, and they don't necessarily know what they're doing yet, or they've just started up and they're just going, but you're in the very, very preliminary stages, but you're all in the same stage. So joining, obviously we'll give the details to my group out at the end of this, but joining that, or any of the others, fabulous coaches out there, any of the others, Facebook communities, start asking some questions. It's a powerful thing.
Brilliant. So in fact, let's just introduce that now, because we can introduce it again, just so people have got that. So if you just want to get started right now and have no idea what to do, but want to feel inspired, go and join Amy's Facebook group, which is it the Wake Up Club?
Wake Up
Amy? The Wake Up Club, yeah. Great name as well. So go and have a look at that, and just get some inspiration, because that is going to be your first step to perhaps you leaving the corporate world. Who knows? Brilliant. So what 3 aspects, because everybody always loves tips, I always know, especially on this show, the feedback I get, Amy, is I want to tip now. People want stuff now in this day and age, don't they? So what 3 aspects do you need to really consider to get the ball rolling?
Okay, I suppose there are so many, but I will pick 3. And the first is, I mean, I would definitely say the support aspect, like we've just discussed. Get yourself involved in a community whereby you are going to be inspired, supported, and motivated by the people around you, because there'll be plenty of people that will make you feel the opposite. So, to totally boost that would be one of my main things. I think getting the help and finding out what your actual passion is. I've been doing my nutrition for many years now, and I'm still exceptionally passionate about it. And I take on one-to-one clients now, and I do nutrition events. But when I was speaking to my business coach and I started getting the feedback from my clients about how I was helping them with their businesses, and, that some of them were getting rid of the jobs that they hated and, going for a promotion when they're the type of people that wouldn't even speak up to start off with. And I was helping them with diabetes, and all these kind of things happen. And I started speaking to my business coach about it. And I mean, as you've mentioned, and I have to say it is true, I started getting really passionate about helping people get out of the lives, the corporate lives that they're not happy with. Now, I'm not corporate bashing because it suits so many people, and that's absolutely fabulous. But actually, there are so many people it doesn't suit, and they are unaware that there's another option. So I just want to, give people the opportunity to actually think about what it is that they want. My coach asked me a question, and she said, if your life could look any way, if your life could be absolutely anything, what would it be? Where would you be living? What would it look? What kind of things would you be doing? And I just started speaking, and my mind just opened up completely. So, and that's how I am progressing into what I'm progressing now, and loving it, because somebody gave me the fundamental tools. A good coach gave me the fundamental tools to see what it was that I wanted to do next. I'd already established my nutrition business. That's absolutely great. I wanted to grow. I wanted to help people in other areas. And I just needed to find out what it was and identify exactly what it was that my next step was going to be. So I would say, get the support and get the help to find out what your next step would be. So that would be tip number 2.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Tip number 3, which one shall I pick? Which one shall I pick? Work on yourself and feel the fear and do it anyway. Because it is going to terrify you. You're going into the unknown. And a lot of people that I've started working with their online businesses have been thinking about it for a very long time, but not actually doing it. So they're passionate about what they want to do, but they haven't actually started yet. And the reason why they haven't actually started yet is because they're scared to start, because that means they actually have to do it. And what I mean by that is, one of my clients that I was speaking to a couple of weeks ago when I was working with her, she was really excited about how we were going to move her reflexology and Reiki business onto a more online platform. And she was really excited about the prospects that would bring to her, the amount of time that would free up, and the income that it could generate for her. But then she realised that she'd been prepping this room to have these one-to-one clients, which she still wants to do, and that's completely fine. But that was in her comfort zone. This is something she doesn't know. And she just started to get really anxious. She was excited, but when she realised that when she had the clear steps of what she needed to do and how she needed to start, anxiety kicked in. And that is completely normal, because that means, oh my God, I actually have to do this now. I actually have to perform. Do you know what I mean? I actually have to get myself out there. And this is now becoming really real. And that is terrifying to absolutely anybody if you're pushing yourself slightly out of your comfort zone. So when I level up, which is moving myself out of my next comfort zone, I'm doing another online event in a couple of weeks. I would not 2 years ago been speaking on a radio station. It just would not have happened. I couldn't have done it. Now I'm loving it, absolutely loving it. But when you push yourself past that comfort zone, it does get scary, but do it anyway, because the fear voice, it gets quieter. It doesn't go away. It just gets quieter. The more you do it, the more visible you become, the more times that you do Facebook Lives, that, the more emails that you send out, the more speaking that you do, or even, just getting started and doing new tasks. eventually the voice will actually quieten. So my third tip would be feel the fear and absolutely do it anyway.
Feel the fear and do it. See, I need to hear that. I so need to hear that, because I'm really taking my business to a new level, Amy, and it actually scares the life out of me. But my coach seems to think it's fine, and I seem to think it's absolutely terrifying what he's asking me to do. But as you say, I've got to remember those words. Feel the fear and do it anyway, because everyone feels fear, don't they? Every successful person feels the fear. It's not that the fear's gone away or they've overcome it. They still actually feel it, don't they?
They still completely do. And the thing is, it's like, you'll start, your next step. And then this time next year, you'll look back at that step and go, yeah, that was easy.
Yeah.
And because you'll have a bigger step, and it's great. It's growth. It's exciting, and especially when you start really getting out there and helping people and you see the smiles on their little faces, it's amazing. So all well worth it. A little bit of fear is well worth it for a couple of smiles, definitely.
Beautiful, beautiful. So can you give us an understanding of the strategy that you're going to need to actually implement this transition from full-time to freelance?
Yeah, so obviously it does vary from person to person, but take my own example. So I was working in corporate IT, I was earning a certain amount. I'm a person that lives by myself, and I don't necessarily have support, so I had to make sure that there was definitely an income coming in. First of all, I discovered what it is that I wanted to do, and the second thing that I did was find out what I'm passionate about. This is when I started my nutrition business. Find out what I'm passionate about, and find out exactly who it is that wants to help. And you need to know exactly who it is you want to work with, because you need to know how to speak to them. And this took me the longest time to figure out.
So this is your target market.
My target market, that's right. And once you know who your target market are, and once you know what their pain points are, what their problems are, you can speak to them and you can offer them the solution. So once you've got that down, and I needed a lot of help with this, I've hired a couple of business coaches. Both of them have been absolutely fabulous. And to get my message right. And so find out who it is that you want to work with, find out what it is that you're passionate about, and then put a strategy together to transition yourself from where you are to the freelance. So the strategy would be, obviously, then you've got a service, you've got a package, you've worked with your coach to put all of this together, and then you need to let people know that it's available. And you can do this by many different ways, but online ways would be, typically like the events that I've spoken on, webinars, Facebook Lives, all those kind of things that you can kind of do. And you need to get your strategy correct as well to make sure that you actually grasp the people that you want to grasp. And it takes consistency. And, and there are going to be times where you just don't want to do it. You're having a bad day, your kid's just thrown up everywhere, or, you've had an argument with your husband and it's just put you in a funk. But you just need to be kind of consistent with it. And the clients will start coming in. If you get all of these things right, the clients will start coming in. And then you work around your day job to make sure that you earn enough money to cover the essentials, or however much it is that you want to earn before you leave your day job. For me, all I needed to do was pay my bills. All I needed to do was pay my mortgage, put petrol in my car, and buy some food. I wasn't bothered about anything else. I'm quite low maintenance. I'm not a big shopper. It drives me nuts.
So this is when you were still working. That's what you needed to cover. Still working, yeah.
This is when I was still working, and as soon as I done that, as soon as I could do that, that's when I gave up my day job and started working on it full time. And then you've got the fundamentals in there, but it's about getting the programs right as well, making sure that you've got a reliable income, because working freelance you can have, if you don't structure your offerings correctly, your income can really fluctuate. So it's about knowing how to get that stable also.
So for a while, you're going to be working extremely hard then, because if you're running your day job while you're setting this up. But I guess, and I know for me, it doesn't feel like work. I mean, some of it does, the bits and pieces. I'm a real technophobe, so that feels like huge work to me whenever I have to do something technical online. But